Disney World Magic by Caitlin Ng. Bella wakes up and she asks, "What time is it?" She hears her mom say, "Bella, come downstairs. We're late to the airport." She quickly brushes her hair and says, "Yes, Mom, almost done." She runs to the car and soon asks, "Are we almost there yet?" Her mom says, "No." After when they get there, she asks, "Do you have your ticket?" Bella replies, "Yes, Mom, bye now." She checks the time. "Oh, I have 10 minutes to board now." She quickly runs to the gate and she soon hears, "Gate 10 is boarding now." She boards and soon after she hears a Uber say, "Uber for Bella." When she gets ready and changes, she goes on the bus inside the park. She grabs one of the maps so she doesn't get lost. She asks herself, "Where should I go now? What about Magic Kingdom?" She admires the castle and she says, "Wow, this is the most magical place in the world. Oh, look, there's a shop. Candy shop." She waits in line to get some yummy cotton candy. Soon after, she asks, "Where's my phone?" Let me put my cotton candy down to look for it. "Found it. Where's my cotton candy?" She looks up and sees the cotton candy flying in the skies. She says, "This is the best place ever." Next, she says, "I want to go to the teacups." After, she was screaming on the ride. Soon after, she went to a cafe to have some tea. After, she went on a few rides and ended and she goes on all the other rides, but soon after she says, "Wait, what the?" And she starts floating into the clouds. Soon after, she looks at the pink clouds and she says, "Wow, these are so soft." She looks behind her though, and she says, "What's that?" to a shadow. She can see all the park from here. Soon after, the fireworks start, and she says, "Wow, it's starting already? I love this." She points at one of the clouds, and she says, "Can I eat this?" And she takes a nibble of one of the cotton candy clouds. She says, "It's so good." But what now? Oh, wait. What if? And she started screaming because she fell through the clouds. Luckily, the magic carpet saved her and glided through her to the floor. "Thanks," she said. "This is nice. What now?" I know. On Space Mountain, during the line, she said, "It's taking forever." Then she said, "This is getting boring." Soon after, she finished the ride and said, "I need to call my mom and go back to the hotel." And just come home already. All right, I'm at the airport. Bye now. Yeah, I'm sleeping on a plane. The end.
Jeff and the Magic Door. This story was based on the summer trip that me and my family take every year. We take trips to amazing places. On these trips, we go to beaches, mountains, and even caves. There's a magic door that makes us live the most amazing experiences in our lives. Let's see where it takes us. Beep, 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 beep. I woke up, and just in front of my bed, there was a door that said, "Danger." I went downstairs and I shouted, "Mom, is my breakfast ready?" And there's a weird door in my room. But I asked again and again, but nobody answered. Then I searched the whole house and nobody was there. I began to cry. But then I had a brilliant idea. I decided to go to that door where it said danger. I took lots of supplies, especially food. Lots and lots of food. Three, two, one, go! I jumped inside and I went into a kind of portal. Then I fell directly from the sky and fell on my back to the floor. It hurted a lot. Then, when I got up, I heard some kind of music, but I didn't know what language it was in. And it frightened me, but it didn't even matter. Then I saw the most amazing thing I had seen ever. It was tall, snowy. I think it was the Everest Mountain. It was as tall as the tallest thing that I have ever seen. Well, after a long time, after exactly 3 hours, 2 minutes, and 12 seconds, I went back to my starting point. I knew everything because I spent a lot of time learning about this mountain. But I saw the magic door popping out of nowhere. I was very angry. I don't like that door because when I fell into a new place, I hurt myself. But then I thought, maybe it's a way to another amazing place, like a beach or something else. So I said, three, two, one, now. Ah! I fell into that exact same portal again, and then I fell on my back again, and everything looked like before again, until I saw the Eiffel Tower. I said, wow, and I decided to walk up to the top. When I started counting. One, two, three. After a while, I was at number 636, 637, 638, and then when I was at the last pair of stairs, I celebrated because I thought I had finished. But they were about 1,000 more steps to go. But luckily, there was an elevator next to the stairs every single stage. I went into the elevator and up I went. Then, after a while, I thought, shouldn't I be at the top already? I started panicking and I looked all around for an emergency exit. But in France, there was no such thing as an emergency exit. I was sweaty and very nervous. I was searching everywhere for something helpful. But then I heard ding. It was like some kind of bell. And then I saw a city of Paris. It was beautiful. That was amazing, I said. I was at the top of the Eiffel Tower. Then, for a few minutes, I sat down and enjoyed the views of the city. I felt great to look at the horizon. Then, I heard a strange noise. I turned around and saw the magic door. I roared once again and said, three, two, one, go! I saw that kind of portal again until, splash, I fell into water, but I didn't know where I was. I didn't know how to swim, but I started yelling, help, help. But nobody was there. I swam and swam until I spotted a boat just floating in the middle of the sea. I swam as fast as I could because there was some kind of creature that looked like it didn't eat in ages following me. When I was right next to the boat, the creature jumped on me, but I managed to get on the boat before it ate my leg. Phew! Help! 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 I yelled, but nobody responded. After a while, I saw something contrasting from the color of the sea. I think it was a beach. And just like the boat, there was a chair in the middle of nothing, and I decided to take a nap on it. I leaned back and closed my eyes, slowly. I felt so comfortable in that chair, I fell asleep very fast. But then I woke up again. It was very strange. I heard an unusual noise, like some kind of leaf blower. I looked at the sea, and all of the waves were going in all directions. Then I looked closer and closer, and I saw a hurricane. It was a hurricane in the water, and then I automatically jumped. Ah! I was still screaming, but I was in the chair beach in the beach, and all was back to normal. Oh, it was just a dream. I turned around and I saw the magic door. Once again, I said, three, two, one, go! When I opened my eyes, I was home. I really missed my own house. After checking out if everything was back to normal, I went to see if the magic door appeared one more time, but it didn't. I finally had some peace and quiet.
My journey to the airport. I woke up early in the morning. Bye, we will call, whispered me, my brother, and mom to our dad leaving in the train. Why is there so many police cars? My brother noticed. Everyone was clueless of what happened, but we eventually got on our line, in our plane. The plane will be 1 hour delayed, me and my mom heard from the speaker. We won't make our next flight, my mom worried. Rushing out of the plane, we still didn't make our flight. Come with me to another line. There is only one person rescheduling flights, said a coworker, and then me and my brother and mom got out of the line following the coworker with many other people. We're gonna wait here for over 5,000 hours, I thought after seeing the line. We had no other option but to stay. After we got a flight, I heard a voice. My grandpa was calling. How come this flight is also delayed? What? We were devastated, but got in the line again. While my mom was also calling, trying to get a flight, my eyes closed. Boom! My eyes opened. I teleported. I saw a bunch of imaginary characters at once and worlds. After that, I hopped onto Santa's sleigh. I landed in a world filled with Easter eggs. I noticed a castle in the distance. Let's go there, I asked the leprechaun, Santa, Easter Bunny, and Tooth Fairy. No, they all yelled, but I trusted them. In the morning, I was running with the Easter Bunny playing tag. Then I realized in front of me was a haunted castle, the one I saw yesterday. Ah! I knew not to go inside, but I was curious and nervous at the same time. I opened the door. Hello, is anyone here? I yelled, regretting my decision. I heard a tap from shoes. Just then, I was going to open the door to get out, but a wind pushed me closer to the staircase. To get out, you must make my daughter happy, a vampire told me. Thinking this was my only decision, I agreed, rushing to her room. I heard a voice. I don't need anyone to make me happy. I knocked on her door, but all I heard was a whimper. I felt bad. Then I opened her door. I saw her on the ground. Next thing I knew was that I sat next to her. After a while, my eyes were tired. I decided to go to bed so I could do better tomorrow. A smoke came rushing into the room. I must find the vampire's daughter, I thought, but when I checked her room, it was empty. I rushed downstairs where the smoke was coming from, and in the kitchen I found her. What happened? I asked her. Since you were nice to me yesterday, I tried to make breakfast, but turns around. I felt happy that she thought of me that way. Amara, how could you? You almost burned the house, I heard the vampire scold. Next thing, vampire girl Amara ran away. I tried to comfort her, but I decided to talk to her dad. How come Amara is so sad? I asked him. We were a nice family with her mother, but me and Amara don't have the best relationship. I decided to tell him some tips, and Amara became happier. But then I thought, when will I be with my family? One day, you know that whenever you want, you can leave, the vampire told me. Really? Then I'll leave tomorrow. I have to say bye to Amara first. Next day. Bye bye. Doors open. Then I found my friends and told them everything. After I told them that they could be with the vampires, I decided that I need to leave. How do I get back home? I asked them. Just wish. So then I closed my eyes and boom, I teleported. Everything went back to normal. Gets off plane. Arrived. The End. Comic made by Anna Paparasopoulos. Finished January 26, 2025. Russell Sage, JHS 190.
Written by Ariana Mumino-Hunov, Class 61, year 2024 to 2025. Thump, thump, thump. Gosh, the rain is really hard to say. Zip, zip, zip goes the cloud. Then a large purple, blue, and green thunderbolt comes down. Boom! Ah, crash. Oof. Should we go in, my mom said, and gets replied with these mixed answers. No, yes, nah, yes. Okay, guess not. The wind goes as it pushes the car into the portal. Ah, no! Back a few seconds ago, no! I feel this gust of wind blowing in front of my face until bam, we are in the portal fearing for our dear lives. And my mom yelling, what the? And the worst part was that flying fish. Anyways, a few minutes before our real story begins. Moments before disaster, we meet two fish, Kevin and Bob. Bob has a dark orange spot on his tail, and Kevin has one with an orange spot on his eye. Now, let's go to their POV. Kevin? Yeah, Bob. Look! Ah! Now back to mine. Oh no, a black hole! Bob and Kevin swim out the way just in time before our car hit the beautiful ocean floor. Who are you? Bob asked. Who are you? Kevin asked with a curious look on his face. We are people, me and my mom say, because my brother and dad were fast asleep. Can we show you something? Come. Bob asked. Wish, 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 as Bob and Kevin swam fiercely across the water while bubbles were getting in my face. Ugh. As we were swimming, they showed us their new house and asked to come in. Want to come in? Kevin asked, and of course we said, no, we can't, sorry. Okay, wait here, said Kevin as he chased down Bob and told him the news. As soon as Bob turned around, he was kind of mad and sad. But I don't know, honestly, Bob is just Bob. Anyways, we came back, and since we felt bad, they asked us to come with them to Shelf Kingdom, a wonderland filled with golden shells and amazing chic designs, and filled with amazing Shell Kingdom food. Delish. To be continued. As the thrill fun adventure As after the thrill fun adventure, Bob and Kevin thought, they'll just come back whenever they came from. The portal will stay there forever. They were completely wrong. Anyways, as they think, they say, let's go into Dark Cave. So many fish go there to hang out. Oh, okay, said me and my mom, as we go there into a beautiful one-of-a-kind cave. Oh no, we see little fish swimming away for their lives. So as soon as we look up, we see a terrifying anglerfish that was mixed with a shark coming straight for us. So as any person would do, we swam away. As we left, we oathed to never do it again until Bob and Kevin had the clever idea to go swim somewhere else. Again, me and my mom exclaimed as Bob and Kevin swam away. As we almost passed out from chasing these fish, Bob and Kevin, I opened my eyes to see the most beautiful water park ever known to man with slides that reach up to the sky. We decided to do a water park ride because I love water parks. So as we go finish the day off, or well, I guess near finishing the day off, Bob, Kevin, me, and my mom had to go. Even though I could stay there for ages and ages, my brother and dad were still waiting for us. So since they didn't get sucked in and jumped out at the last second, so we had to do the right thing and go home. So as we decided to go home, of course we talked about our experience and how we sure would come back with the rest of our family. And as we go where the portal was, it was gone! We realized that the portal comes back around every few hours. So me and my mom panic and freak out since we couldn't get back home. So then Bob and Kevin told us, guys, come with us. So we go and follow them, they stop. In the distance, we were following both of them until in the blurry, foggy waters. They stop and quietly whisper, yeah, I don't know where to go. I know, come. So then after what feels like about 2 million years of hours have passed by, we finally made it to the portal block, which only said 2 hours. So now what? The main question all of us were asking, where will we have to go? There is no more place to go. Recap 2 hours ago. So now what? Bob, with an angry look on his face, says out loud with an angry tone, let's go! Zoom! Bob whips by with very fast speed and bubbles fly over our faces. Kevin, mine, and my mom's. Yes! Finally, 3 minutes. So now you can go home. And in my head, in that moment, I thought, this might be the very last time I'd be here. And how sad this is. Everyone said their goodbyes, and Then I said, it was fun swimming with you guys. Y'all are so nice. I will miss you. Then some tears started to roll out of Bob and Kevin's eyes. Well, it's a minute left. I miss y'all so much. Bye, Kevin and Bob. See you maybe next time? Yeah, next time, said my mom. Okay, bye. Bye. 1, 2, 3, boom! There back I was at home, and now this story is a story I tell to everyone, even you. The end. To be continued. Under the Sea is a touching and fun adventure story about a terrible fish flash flood portal that leads to traveling across all 7 seas.
Taiwan Odyssey, created by Audrey Lee, made at Russell Stage JHS 190Q Middle School in Class 6G1, finished making on Sunday, January 26, 2025. This summer break, my brother and I flew to Taiwan by ourselves. When we arrived, I played an easy cash prize game that was very rare for someone to earn so much money on it. Well, guess what? I won 5,000 NTD, which is $153.83 US dollars. I couldn't believe it. But wait, it gets even better. My Uncle Bill and Auntie Vicky took us to eat a very good lunch and to a super fun zoo called X Park. And there I saw my favorite animal right before my eyes. It was capybaras. Unbelievably, that first day was my lucky day or something because because I won an adorable stuffed penguin from the raffle prize. After that, we left it and drove to my grandparents' house in Kaohsiung. 1 hour later, we stopped by my favorite Taiwanese store, 7-Eleven. Okay, now please don't judge me, but if you ever get to visit Taiwan, you will notice that 7-Eleven is the best convenience store because everything they sell is amazing. It is so different from the ones from other countries, for example, America. Like other places, Taiwan is also unique and different. When we arrived at our grandparents' house, they welcomed us with joyful smiles. We had to unpack everything in our luggages, and while I was unpacking, my aunt gave me her old phone to keep so I could contact my parents. I loved it because I've always wanted my own device to take pictures and contact people. Then she said that after we finished unpacking, we could go out and eat food. There was so much food to choose from. They are all so unique and different in their own way. Their origin, their story, and most importantly, their taste. They are all known to shape Taiwan into what it is today. Here are some of my favorites to eat. I love boba or bubble tea, stinky tofu, beef noodle soup, xiaolongbao, shaved ice, hot pot, and fried potato balls. After we finished eating, my aunt and uncle decided to take us to a claw machine arcade. My uncle was a pro at getting things from the claw machine. We even got food and cartoon plushies. Then, when we went back to my grandparents' house, my other aunt texted me saying, "Do you want to hang out with us next week?" Of course, I had to say yes. Soon enough, we would be having the time of our lives. And I was right. We had such a fun time with them. They spoiled my brother and I with so much fun. We hanged out with our cousins that we barely see, and they took us to pools, amusement parks, and my favorite, sleeping in super cool and comfortable hotels. The amusement park we went to was called Yida Theme Park, or known as Yida Shijie. We were also having so much fun, but then one day, my aunt told us that we can go to a water park that had just opened. Since it was so hot outside, we agreed. As soon as we were having fun, it started to rain a lot. It rained so hard that it started a big thunderstorm. We tried running away, but it seemed like the thunderstorm was alive and it was trying to chase us. Soon enough, we arrived in the restaurant that kept us from getting wet outside. As soon as I thought we were safe, I saw the rainstorm outside staring right at us with a big kapow! I knew what I had to do, so I said, "Rain, rain, go away!" After that, the gray and dark, scary clouds disappeared into the night, and on the way home, we saw a beautiful sunset sky. Sooner or later, it was time for us to go back to California. Before we left, we said goodbye to everyone we knew in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. We had to stop by Taipei before leaving to stay at my dad's side of the family for 3 days. Sadly, before we knew it, we boarded the airplane and arrived back in California after 13 hours. We will never forget how much fun and adventure we experienced in Taiwan. Thank you for listening. This is Audrey Lee from Russell State JHS 190Q, Class 6G1. I am the creator of this comic book called Taiwan Odyssey. Goodbye!
The Time Traveling Carnival. Pearl woke up to her mom downstairs making breakfast. As Pearl exclaimed, "I've been waiting for this carnival. Let's go." As her mom Christine replied, "Slow down. It doesn't start till 9:30 and it's only 8:30." Pearl said, "It's actually 8:31, but okay." Once they all woke up, they got into the car and the kids discussed what's at the carnival. Pearl, Emma, Avery, and Penny went straight to the rides the moment they got to the carnival. First bumper cars, then the great swing, after the rise and shine. The second Emma got off that ride, she clung to the floor. I love you, Flourishie said. Soon after, Avery said, I'm starving, and all the kids agreed. So they went to get food and found a nice place to eat under a tent with plenty of shade. But the clouds started to become dark. Christine said the weather app never said it was going to rain. As the clouds got darker and darker, the rain got stronger and stronger, and so did the lightning. The rain started flooding into the tent, so they made a run for it. They all stopped in the middle of the flooded driveway, and lightning hit a metal sign. Right before their eyes was a big portal covering their way to the cars. What's that? Pearl exclaimed. I don't know, but stay away from it, her mom said, frightened. But Pearl got closer. Emma said, it's getting really windy all of a sudden, Avery shouted. I think it's pulling us in. As a big gust of wind started pushing them closer and closer to the portal. Ah! Pearl screamed, almost getting sucked into the portal, but quickly clung to a sign pole. They all agreed to go into the portal because they couldn't hold on much longer. Pearl said, 1, 2, 3. They all gave in and let go into the portal, but next thing Pearl knows, she's in mid-air and noticed that she was going to fall. Oh no, we're going to fall. As Pearl fell from a tall height from the portal. Ow, Avery said. Penny said, Where are we? More like, when are we, her mom said, as she pointed to a sign that said, The Great Carnival of 1085. As all of them stood in disbelief, a paper falls from the sky and into Pearl's hand. It reads a riddle. If you wish to go back and that's what you seek, then here's what you'll need to get out of this messy beat. The sharpest needle there is to mankind is what you'll need to find. Fluff from the clouds, but it has to be real, not a bluff. And dino skin, as slick as it can be. When they hear this, they all get straight to finding these items. Pearl spots a shiny needle on Pearl, her mom, and her dad stacked on top of each other. It was not her brightest idea, but it was the only one. They successfully reached, but soon after they fell to the ground. Her next idea was most likely the craziest. She forced her cousin Emma to get on top of a dino to get a piece of the cloud. After, Pearl got some of the cloud in a jar. Emma asked how they were going back down. Pearl said, You know how. And then Emma responded, Nope, no way, nada. As Emma was screaming on the top of her lungs, sliding down the dino tail, Pearl was having fun. When they got back down, the last thing on the list was a piece of the dino skin. Then Pearl's mom said, Were you not just on a dino? Emma revealed that she ripped some off as they were sliding down. Pearl asked, But how? Emma responded, Oh, it came right off, as she remembered they had all the items, but who did they give it to? Smoke appeared. Suddenly, a person came out. He didn't look like a human, but also didn't look like a dino. Pearl exclaimed, What is that? Then Christine screamed, Ah! And frightened the unknown person. Then the unknown person screamed. Pearl broke up the screaming fit and asked, Are you the one that we give these items to? The stranger answered, Yes, and I also am the one that teleported you here. So she gave all the items to the unknown. Pearl asked, What are these items for? The unknown person answered, For a jacket. Something called the Ice Age is coming, and it sounds cold. Then Christine responded, Why can't you just teleport yourself into the future to pass the Ice Age? He responded, I already tried it. Sadly, it doesn't work on me. They all understood and they teleported back. The end.
The Ice Cave by Jaden Solinsky. Jay and Jazzy got on the huge bus, but then it started snowing. At least that was what they were focused on until the bus broke down. The bus driver said that 2 people had to get off, and it was clear that it was them. They had no idea what to do, but they decided to climb up a huge mountain. When they got to the top, there was a big cave. It was filled with gems and jewels. It was very cool, and they decided to go in. It led them to some footprints which they followed that led them to a huge diamond. Jay decided to touch it, but then everything started to crumble. They had no idea what to do, and they fell through the floor. But down under them was a bunch of toys, or that's what they thought. It was a whole town filled with gnomes. Jay asked if they could help them, but they were very defensive about it. But she tried to explain, and they gave in. One of the gnomes led them to a slide and said to keep walking. It led them to a portal. Out of some thoughts, they decided that they should go in the portal on 3. They counted to 3, and then they jumped in. It finally brought them home. The end.
A Journey in the Falls, written and illustrated by Lily Gazes in Class 61. Whoosh, we began our boat ride on the Niagara River. Suddenly, the boat shook with a low rumble. I was underwater and breathing. I looked to my right and saw a bright light, leading to a list of sea creatures to find. After a while, I managed to find 2 of the 5 creatures on the list. I looked everywhere for the Dumbo octopus, but I was out of luck. After a while of searching, I found it, and with some pure luck, I also found the sea lion. I thought to myself, I'm going to find all these in no time, but I was wrong. I searched and searched, but it was almost as if the stingray didn't exist. I felt like giving up, but then I looked up to see a stinger shadow. I tried following the shadow, but it was still nowhere to be seen. I began doubting that this was even the real shadow. As I gave up and slouched against a rock, I tossed my head back. To my surprise, when I looked up, I saw the stingray. The final checkbox on the list was checked off. Suddenly, without warning, my vision began to blur, and all I could see was colorful swirls. When my vision cleared up a bit, I realized I was on the surface. My vision was now clear, and I saw them ahead of me. Mom, Dad, I called out, relieved. The entire way home, I ranted non-stop about the journey I took through the falls. This book was written and illustrated by Lily Gazes from JHS 190 Russell Sage.
Zombies, created by Logan Hall. We drove hours to our destination, the Monroeville Mall. The mall seemed strangely empty from the outside, and there was no other cars parked. But we decided to go in anyways. Immediately after we heard the strange noise, we all hid behind different things. And when the noise started getting quieter, I peeked my head over the thing I'd been hiding behind. And it was a zombie! Before we could fully react, we heard grunting behind us, and it kept getting louder, and louder. And by the time we turned around, there was a bunch of zombies running straight at us. We were surrounded by zombies on almost all sides, but then we saw it. The security office! We ran to the security office and tried to open the door, but it was locked. Luckily, there was a key in the key box. We unlocked the door, got inside, and locked it again. We relaxed knowing that the zombies couldn't get us in here, and while I was looking through the window, I saw it. A zombie switch! I told my mom and sister about what I saw, and we decided that it would be best if I tried to go and turn it off alone. I left the security office
but the way I was originally planning to go was blocked off by zombies. So I ran in the opposite direction, and there just happened to be an open door. I ran in and locked it, and the room just happened to be a stock room. After realizing how many zombies there were going to be on the pad to the zombie switch, I decided if I was going to get to it, I would need a disguise. And after looking around the stockroom, I found everything I would need. I put on all the things I found and walked to the window of the door. Whoa, this is going to be tough, I said, while looking at all the zombies that were out there. I opened up the door and walked out. It's working, I thought to myself as I walked past all the zombies. And now it's time to end this. I looked at the zombie switch, realizing that this whole thing was finally over. I turned off the zombie switch, and all the zombies disappeared. I took off my zombie mask and met back up with my family, and we left them all together. The end. Written and illustrated by Logan Hall, Class 6G1, JHS 190, Russell Sage.
The Adventure of Food Kingdoms. School, Russell Sage, Junior High School, 190 Middle School, by Mikaka Araki, 6G1. Date, January 2025. I went to Japan this year. I met my best friend. I went to Harajuku Takeshidori and went to the sweet store. My friend got a strawberry chocolate crepe, and I got a rainbow-shaped ice. But then I heard a rumble, and I was sucked into the spoon. When I opened my eyes, I saw penguins and lots of crazy things. I was wandering around when I met Penny. He was an 8-year-old penguin, and when I questioned him how to get back, he took me to the king, queen, and king. They gave me the map to get the 3 key to unlock a secret portal. Me and Penny's adventure started. After walking for about 2 hours, we finally got there. It was the first food kingdom, the donut and gummy bear kingdom. The queen and king gave us the first key. We then walked for about 30 minutes and arrived at the second food kingdom, the cheese island, but we couldn't find the king or the mayor in town. We were walking around, we saw mice's and rats' houses and homes melting because of the heat. Then we found the mayor in trouble. His cheese castle was melting too. We came to help, and cheese was Penny's favorite food, so he was really addicted in this town. We found Penny's emergency ice and used that to make snow and freeze the houses in the castle. The mayor told us that the second key was in the cheese cave, where all the important things were kept. And so we went to the cave. It was magical in the cave. There was thousands of treasure chests and stars. We found the largest one, and inside the second key was buried. The last spot was the Spaghetti Kingdom, and when we headed there, we had hoped that there was no problems, but there was. According to the mice mayor, he told us that no one has got past the keykeeper. It was trained not to get anyone into the portal because they can send themselves anywhere and it can get dangerous if the king didn't put the special spell on the person. We arrived at the Spaghetti Kingdom, but there was the keykeeper. Roar. It was so huge and loud. We ran as fast as we can, but we got to the dead end. We thought we were doomed, but then we met the king and queen. He shrinked the huge lion and made it to the cute little puppy. The puppy gave us the third and last key. The king unlocked the portal and sprinkled a magic bubble around me and Penny so that we wouldn't pop inside the portal. But this meant that we had to say goodbye. The king thought for a moment and said that we could put the portal in Japan.
The Dream by Neshma Moske. This comic book was based off of an event which occurred with me and my sister. My sister surprised me with a trip to somewhere she'd know I'd like, the aquarium. While on the train to this aquarium, I would sleep on one of the subway seats and foreshadow in my dream about a fish adventure. This fish adventure would imply a message of helping others even when you have your own struggles to face. This page is about how my sister assaulted me while I was dreaming. Not actually, though. This page was the morning of the day that she had surprised me. My sister would try desperately to wake me up and still not succeed. Her last attempt was to throw one of my own pillows with a bullseye on my head. This worked wonderfully, but only for her. Me and my sister would walk down a hill in order to get to the subway station. On the way, I really wanted to know where and why we were going out so early in the morning, but she just brushed it off and called me dramatic. Once we got to the station, we still had to wait for the train to arrive, and when it did, we hopped on. While on the train ride, my sister still wasn't answering any of my questions about where we were going. I also wanted to sit down since she woke me up so early, even if she said otherwise. Though, out of the blue, there was a huge bang. This frightened me and my sister, just like everyone else. After that bang, my sister told me to never sleep on the train seats, with that girl being a prime example why. I said to her that she shouldn't worry so much because I would never. She didn't believe me, but now I think I see why. Once I sat down on an empty seat nearby her, I got pretty bored. I had nobody to talk to nor speak with. I thought of just laying down for a little bit, but I guess my mind had other plans. I tried not to sleep, but that wasn't working at all. After a few minutes, I eventually fell into a deep sleep. When I was sleeping, I suddenly appeared in an unfamiliar area. I was in the ocean, but when I looked up, there was a bunch of coral and fishes. But there was one fish, a purple one. She was staring at me for some reason, but then she actually said something. She asked me to help find her little sister since she got lost. At first, I was still confused, but I agreed since it would get me somewhere. She told me that her sister's favorite area to go to was a store called Sea Love. She was actually able to lead me there. Once we got to the store, there was a tailless fish with a blue cap near the stairs. He spotted us both at the doorway and greeted us inside. Daisy asked him where her sister Maisie was. He said that Maisie just left a little bit ago. He also told us to look next door since she also likes that store just as much as this one. After he told us this, we went next door, and right there, exiting the store, was Daisy's little sister Maisie. Once we found her, I realized that I need to get out. Right before I spoke up, I felt a painful bang on my head. I mean, at least I'm awake now. After we got out of the train station, my sister kept on talking to me about how it was 100% my fault. It was, but it was still irritating, of course. While we were walking down the stairs, I spotted a larger sign saying NY Aquarium. I was obviously super happy and hugged her. This page is just the back cover page. This is when Maisie is in the store checking out a pink seashell bag. Thank you for listening and reading this comic book. Goodbye.
Unbroken by Sophia Chang. My mom, my grandma, and I had just arrived in Japan. We met my mom's friend, Miss Kato, and went over to a sushi restaurant. Suddenly, I got a new notification warning us that there would be a nearby earthquake. My mom and grandma assured me that the earthquake would only be subtle, but the butterflies still stayed in my stomach. The floor was rumbling. I packed my pouch and held onto the table, but it was no use. The floor had now opened up into a hole because of the severe cracks. My mom fell into the hole as well, trying to save me after I had fallen in. My grandma and Miss Kato tried to give advice, but we fell deep down already since my mom couldn't hold on any longer. We fell deep into the earth, but at least we realized that we were going closer to the core, not closer to the end of the crack. My brain was exploding with many overwhelming thoughts and questions like, will we ever get out? We could only hope to get to the other side of the world. Our new focus was to take action on the splitting world because it was like saving Earth now or never. Mom's idea was to scan our resources. That's when we realized that we had a slime that I had made with love. It was bound to be a good try since the world is imperfect and it needed love. We tested it out with 2 rocks from the outer core of the Earth. It was working. The questionable part was whether the little jar of slime was enough to put the whole world together. Then it hit us. The slime is magically fueled by the endless power of love. Earth needs love. That's why it was working. The slime will never run out. We had now been able to travel deeper into the earth, and as the splitting world was rushing by us, it was not too late for us to use the slime. Our plan was efficient and operating. We had finally reached the other side of the world. We made it. The other side of the world would mean we were in Brazil. We were able to save the world for everyone. When we exited the crack of the earth, we were greeted by many reporters. Our story was shared and the world was saved. The end.
The Half-Court Shot by Yulian Yusupov. The Half-Court Shot is a first-person written story about a boy who was in Russia for summer vacation. He likes to play basketball, but one time he got thirsty, and when he went to get a drink, he fell through a hole in the house. I was sitting outside of my grandma's summer house in Russia, playing on my Nintendo Switch until I got thirsty. I went to get some juice from the house, but when I stepped in, I tripped and fell through a hole. Ah! I screamed as I fell. The hole was deep, but when I landed, I looked around and figured I was in an indoor basketball court. Whoa! I thought out loud, but as I looked around, I saw Wilson Evolution basketball, as good as new. When I dribbled up to the three-point line, I took a shot. I knew I was not very good at three-pointers, and I barely made them, but this time I made my shot. At first I thought that I got lucky, but after making 5 more in a row, I knew that there was something off. Bruh, it just came to my mind, straight like that. I just figured out that only on this court and only I can make every single shot. But something else caught my eye. In the corner of the gym, there was a huge shrimp. Gulp. There was an enormous shrimp next to me. I dropped the ball, scratched my head, and asked with a stammer, "Who are you?" He answered by saying, "I be called Shrimp Boss." He gave me a letter that said, "You must make 3 half-court shots in a row to go back home." After he told me, "You will have help," in a very deep voice, I asked, "And who will help me?" I was already looking at the rack for the basketballs and the hoop that I'll have to shoot in. The shrimp stood there for a minute and then finally answered, "Do you know LeBron James?" That was the question he literally asked me. "Bro, of course I know LeBron James. He's my favorite player." After that, he answered me, "Well, the thing is, he has a living crown because they call him the king, and it is gonna help you aim." I chucked my hand back and was ready to throw. On the first shot, I made it. Yes, sir! I was excited. On the second throw, I yeeted the ball. Swish! The ball went perfectly through the net. Hey, let's go! But on the third throw, oof, the ball bounced at least 10 times on the rim, but I made it. Phew! That was tough. Yes, I finally finished the challenge and I get to go home. Homie Portal will be taking you home, the shrimp said. And I'm wondering, who even is that? I asked him. A portal, he simply answered. So, this is our goodbyes? Asked LeCrown James. He replied all of a sudden, Have this ball. It's signed by LeBron. Thanks, bro, I replied. Well, let's get him home, LeCrown said. Yeah, he's tired, Shrimp Boss replied. I jumped through Homie Portal. I jumped out of the portal and just remembered that I have to help Grandma. Ah! The end.
Singapore Scavengers, written and illustrated by Zoe Lee. Me and my family were going to Singapore. The plane ride there took a whole 19 hours. I was really excited to explore all the malls and cool things that Singapore had to offer. After we got settled, my dad went to get a rental car. Then we left for the place I was most excited for, the mall. I was so excited to get to the mall. I was having so much fun that the mall closed. We ended up having to complete a scavenger hunt to exit. After a couple of minutes of regretting what I did, we got started. It wasn't easy, but we did it. The first few objects were easy, but they got harder to find over time. We had found 11 items so far. We kept looking till we found a clue box. The announcement spoke. They said that there were 3 of them hidden anywhere in the scavenger hunt. Cool. We showed the others the clue box that we found. They found some other objects. But then we started slowing down finding the objects because they were getting harder and harder to find. We decided to use the clue box. It led us to the furniture section. Look in the furniture section of Target and look under the chairs. We were nearing the end of the time limit and we were all so nervous. Luckily, we found another clue box to help us. We had 6 minutes and 3 seconds left. That's it. I was stressing about if we would ever get out. I think we were all thinking of that. We ended up using the clue box and it told us to go to the paintings near the wall of the entrance. My family was running all over the place to find the last item. We only had 3 minutes to find the last item, and the hardest. We couldn't find anything. Every nook and cranny we had checked. We had 2 minutes left till we got stuck in the mall forever. I found it! It was behind the machine that counted our items. We finally left after what probably felt like the longest day of my life. Hooray! Written and illustrated by Zoe Lee. School, Junior High School 190 Russell Sage. Completed on January 26, 2025.
Beach Day Dream Disaster by Chloe Harrell. This story is about me and my family at the beach, and then a sea witch captures me. And after a couple of minutes, a fairy saves me. I was so happy, but when we were headed to land, I realized that it was all a dream. The characters in my stories are the fairy, me, my little cousin, my mom, my older cousin, and the sea witch. Ugh, said my little cousin. I want to go now, she says in an angry voice. I tried to make her feel better, and it kind of worked. But then we heard a voice call out, Girls, time to go! Both of our faces lit up with happiness. My cousin runs to the car as I do too. Honk honk! We were stuck in traffic. Down deep in the sea, a sea witch lived down there and was waiting to take someone. When she got to land, I was more scared than a rat getting chased. She forced me to come with her, even when I tried to decline the offer. She took me to her weird underwater house and started a water tornado. There was nothing to do. I couldn't even talk. Oh, well, turns out I could. I was shocked when she said I have to stay here. After only 10 minutes, I realized this was going to be the worst day ever. I've never been more bored in my entire life, but then a miracle happened. Ginger Girl! Ginger Girl was a lifesaver. She just defeated the sea witch. I was so happy. I didn't want to leave her, but she wanted me to go back to land. We both thought hard about what to do. We both decided on something, and it was perfect. We were going to land together. As we were going up, I started to feel weird, and then poof! Ah! I screamed. The whole thing was fake. When I woke up, I got splashed in the face with water. My cousin and my mom looking down on me, asking if I was okay. I was, but I was still shocked about what happened, and I was wet. I calmed myself down and told my cousin what happened. She was actually amazed about it and wished she could have a dream like that. Sadly, we had to leave, but I was the most upset because I didn't even get to do a lot. We heard a loud honk. It was my aunt. We ran to give her a hug and hopped into the car. We were going to get ice cream. Me and my little cousin were very happy about getting ice cream. When we were there, I told my aunt all about what happened. She was shocked, like she should be. Yummy, said my little cousin. This story was made by Chloe Hemrill in 61 in Russell Sage Junior High School.
The Climb by Aiden Q. I got a ticket from my cousin and we drove with my mom and second cousin. I slept the whole way. After registering our tickets, we watched the tutorial. Well, my cousins did. I daydreamed the whole time. We aced the stutter course and headed to the real ones. When we reached the staircase, I didn't know how to climb it because I was zoned out during the tutorial. My cousin reminded me, but I struggled up anyway. It was tough, but I made it to the top. My cousin waited. Someone else didn't, though. You took too long, my cousin says while on the zip line. Then I choose which course I go on next. I followed my cousin because the zip line looked fun. It was not fun. I went on the course and said, this is physically impossible. Then I completed it. Now I move on to level 2. After reaching level 2, I speed ran it and got halfway there. I said, after this zip line, I'm going back down. After the zip line, I looked down and saw clouds. Are these clouds? I asked. Then I screamed at the top of my lungs. Ah! I only saw clouds. I felt like I was having a stroke, but from fear. After I screamed, I spotted my cousin and caught up to her and asked her, how are we going to get down? She responded with a very bold statement. Just jump. She jumped into the clouds as I heard her falling. I asked myself, how did you jump? When she landed on something, she said that it was okay and I could jump. After I went in the portal, I thought to myself, why am I bald? And gray! Wait, is that me? Then I remembered the scene of me calling out to the gray figure, except I'm the gray figure. I tried talking, but it doesn't let me. Then I see me going in the portal and I shout, no, don't go in that portal.
But of course, it didn't let me talk. Then I realized we're still in the air. After I realized that we were still falling, I thought, I need to get down somehow. I also need to tell the other me that he has to get down. Then I hear a sudden shout, "Wake up! We have to get back down," I say to my cousin. Then I hear a person screaming in the far distance. "Is that?" I say, confused. "I fell and ended up here," my cousin thinks. Then he sees me. "Oh, it's Aiden," he says as he starts jumping cloud to cloud. "Aiden!" my cousin screams as he gets next to me. "I'm so glad I found you. I'm figuring out a way for us to get down," I say. "Great!" he responds. Then we shout, "Ah!" and a thud noise follows. Then I scream, "Grass!" And they went to the water park for more adventures. The end.
A Journey in the Falls, written and illustrated by Lily Gazes in Class 61. Whoosh! We began our boat ride on the Niagara River. Suddenly, the boat shook with a low rumble. I was underwater and breathing. I looked to my right and saw a bright light, leading to a list of sea creatures to find. After a while, I managed to find 2 of the 5 creatures on the list. I looked everywhere for the Dumbo octopus, but I was out of luck. After a while of searching, I found it, and with some pure luck, I also found the sea lion. I thought to myself, I'm gonna find all these in no time, but I was wrong. I searched and searched, but it was almost as if the stingray didn't exist. I felt like giving up, but then I looked up to see a stinger shadow. I tried following the shadow, but it was still nowhere to be seen. I began doubting that this was even the real shadow. As I gave up and slouched against a rock, I tossed my head back. To my surprise, when I looked up, I saw the stingray. The final checkbox on the list was checked off. Suddenly, without warning, my vision began to blur and all I could see was colorful swirls. When my vision cleared up a bit, I realized I was on the surface. My vision was now clear and I saw them ahead of me. Mom, Dad, I called out, relieved. The entire way home, I ranted non-stop about the journey I took through the falls. This book was written and illustrated by Lily Gazes from JHS 190 Russell Sage.
My summer vacation. Today is a bright and sunny day. My mom wants to go outside and take a walk. However, my dad and my brother is busy. Eventually, we all agreed and went outside together. As we were walking, we saw a crowd gathering around a mysterious purple figure. After seeing that as a portal, I go online to get raffle tickets. Unfortunately, there is a long wait. When it finally got to my turn, I was so excited. When they announced the winner, it turned out to be me. At first I was confused, but then I was so happy. When I was standing in front of the portal, the wind pushed me in before the host can finish saying the instructions. When I started following, the portal suddenly turned red. Then I remembered the instructions that when a portal turns red, it means that it malfunctioned. In an instant, I landed in a strange, colorful land. I learned about Invisible Dude and where I am from him. The Invisible Boy explained to me how this new dimension works. He also told me that if I don't leave this place soon, I will disappear and become invisible, just like him. This means I have to get out of this place as soon as possible. To get the key to the castle, I must complete an obstacle course. I must also complete it to get across to the king's castle. There were various obstacles, including stepping stones, rope swings, slides, ladders. The course was very tough. When I finally finished the obstacles, I found out that instead of a key, I get a map leading to a key. Staying in this world for too long will cause me to disappear, so I must hurry up and find the key before I become invisible like the Invisible Boy. Suddenly, I spot the key laying on the ground. Now with the key, all I have to do is go to the castle and talk to the king. I asked him to return me back to my dimension. My goal is almost reached. The king made a surprising choice. He immediately said, "Okay, sure. Now it is time for me to go back home." I said bye to the king. Then he teleported me back. The end.
Challenge Frenzy by Tuhina Mukherjee.
It's 8 a.m. Why aren't you ready yet?
My brother gives me a harsh stare. I don't know. I'm not sure of my actions either. Well, you better do it soon, or else. Okay, fine. However, may I interest you to a game? He squints his eyes. If you'll pack, then sure.
Suddenly your outfit changed. You look almost unrecognizable. Whoa, good job. Now follow this map. And why should I? I take a deep sigh. Just do it. Now let's go. I open the doorknob to reveal the beautiful outside. Whoa, this is beautiful? I know. The trees flourish outside, and the sky is a bright blue. I'm super duper sure you'll love this. But there's nothing here. Exactly. My brother squinted his eye. Time for a riddle. That's 'cause I made it. Okay, buddy. Okay. Whoa. Maybe let's just teleport. Whoop. Haha! You need to get used to this. I'm easy to do, but not for you. My intense weight tests the mind along with time. What am I? Huh? Well, that's quite easy. Your patience. So am I right or not? Surprisingly, yeah. Now let's fly. The ground started to rumble. Why is the ground shaking? Ah! Suddenly an airplane popped out of nowhere. Oh, what? What, a meal? No. Ah! We've landed. Now, let's take a look around. We roam around Wisconsin and see mesmerizing things. Cheese! The cold was also no joke. Whoa, it's freezing. Then it was time to say goodbye. Guess you could say life got a bit cheesy. The end.
Another World by Wulon. It was a nice day outside as we ate our breakfast. Soon we had finished and finally we can go to the theme park, Wonderland. The drive was an hour, but as we arrived, it looked amazing. I could even see some of the rides from here. I rushed in with my brother behind me. I couldn't wait to get in. Inside the park, the scent of cotton candy and corn dogs were wonderful. I happily told jokes to my brother and discussed some rides we would go on. As we passed on Spa, I saw the one I wanted to go on. It was a space coaster. I rushed into the ride, but the line was long, but I didn't mind. As we got in, we went up a hill, but then everyone started rushing out. And then a countdown came. The roller coaster went flying into space. Grabbed the helmet and put it on. My brother started panicking once I realized there was only 2 minutes of oxygen. I scanned my surroundings and found a purple portal. I made my way to the portal. Inside there was a cute purple creature. As my brother tried to pet it, it snapped at his hand. Then it started trying to bite us. We quickly floated out the portal as more and more purple creatures came. The portal spat us out and then shrunk. I thought we escaped until my brother Joseph cried out in panic. We were on another planet. Suddenly a voice above shouted, "Oh, you're on Hercules." When I looked up, I saw a strange girl. She called us Earthlings. We're humans. I couldn't believe this as she yammered on about how she studied us in school. Finally, she showed us the way back to Earth. The way out looked dangerous. There had to be another way. But when I asked, the girl said no. Fine. This is the way I would go. I'm going to call her Emma if she doesn't tell me her name. Joseph pointed out that it was dark, so we had to get going quickly. Emma led us into the dark forest. Something growled, and I saw a beast behind me, but I knew he meant no harm. How do you know? Emma asked. I just knew, but something unexpected happened. The beast, which was a dragon, could speak English in another language. He warned us that it is not safe here, so we rode to a new forest. A few hours of sleeping, it was morning. I woke up to Emma being angry. What's your name? I asked her. Sandra, she said. I asked why she was so mad. The reason was because she wasn't correct. Well, she had to get used to not being correct every time. We should go, the dragon Azula said. Azula led us down to the pink marketplace. Sandra said something weird. I knew she was up to something no good. I got us some food, Sandra announced. Joseph wanted full piece, so Sandra smushed it into his face. I was right, I thought. We continued traveling day, noon, and night. As we walked, we stumbled into a garden of beautiful flowers. At least that's what we thought. There were actually spiders with flowers on their backs. They're harmless, Santa soon said. Soon we left the flower spiders into a big, unusual city. In the city, I spotted something that could help us get back to Earth. Bubble racers. Wait, Sandra cried, but Joseph was too excited to hear as he dragged me towards them. He got her and pressed the Earth button and waited for our friends to come in. But they couldn't. Azul and Sandra should do a visit, but it was sad leaving them. The bubble landed on the platform where we got off. It's one of the richer cities, Joseph told me. Finally, we arrived at the elevator. We got it and made a whirring noise. It went really fast and started falling. Unexpectedly, we landed in Wonderland. It was very scary seeing you on the ride. Someone said we were confused since we weren't on the ride. We were in another world.